Hello world, welcome back to my channel. My name's Paul. Today I'm off to find a laundry, a lavanderia, get some clothes washed. I know I saw one around here somewhere, but I'll find it. For now, let's roll that intro. So I watch guys like Backpacker Ben getting really sick, food poisoning, and I've always thought how lucky I am because it's never happened to me. I've got a cast iron stomach, but I had a delicious lunch yesterday, sort of beef stew, and I woke up in the middle of the night a little bit soft in the insides, so let's hope it doesn't turn into a full-blown couple of days in bed. It's twice now the lavanderia has been shut. I'll have to go back later. And now the laundry's open. Let's go in to see how much it's going to cost. And so I'm getting my washing done. It's costing about $15. They do a really good job in these South American laundries, and it's a lot of the stuff's Janet's, so there's more than I'd normally have. Just chilling on my windowsill. Janet's gone to the dentist. She's been at the dentist every day since we got here, but getting your teeth done in Australia is so expensive. We're here, it's so cheap, so she just saves up, goes to the dentist in Perth, finds out what needs doing, and then gets it all done while we're here. And it's been a while, so yeah, what a day, guys. It's been a bit wet yesterday, as you saw in the last video. But today is just a nice, cool, beautiful day. Looking at the mountains up there. Just incredible. I'm going to head out shortly, try and find some street food. And then Janet's going to ring me up when she's ready, because we've only got one card for the room, one key. So she's going to ring me up when she's leaving the dentist, and we'll meet back here. And then we're going to go to the museum. So this hotel, I don't know if you remember 2 videos ago, it's called the Expo Museo Hotel. So yeah, the museum's not far away from here, sort of maybe halfway to the planetarium that we were at a couple of videos ago, or the last video. No, I can't remember. Anyway, what an amazing day, guys. Watching the world go by. Beautiful. Okay, so I'm going to go and try and find some buñuelos. They're kind of like a cheese dough cooked. Oh, I thought this was the police. People have these little lights on their cars and make them look like the police. Now the taxis, Wilson, number plates of cars, to keep the traffic down a bit, the number plates of cars are only allowed to drive on certain days. So Wilson's not driving today. Otherwise I would have headed out with him again. But Janet will be finished soon. We'll head to the museo. Right now I'm going to find a buñuelo. Another one of my favourites is pasteles, and pasteles are kind of like, I think they're called arancette. They're kind of like balls of rice with a batter around them in Italian. Well, a pastele is sort of like that, with potato around a central, sometimes meat, sometimes rice. We ate here the other day. I'm just going to put the camera away for a minute, guys. I'll get back to you in a minute. Empanadas, arepas, pasteles, and yeah, what I was saying before, the local pasteles here, apparently the ones I like are a local thing, and the ones here are more like pasties in a batter. But this is where I was headed, guys. I think I'm going to try one of these people's buñuelos, buenos, and yes, that's exactly what I want. Un buñuelo, por favor. Yum, this is them here, round little balls, cheese dough. ¿Cuánto cuesta? 2,000. 2,000, bueno. Just a sec, guys, while I get some money out of my pocket. Gracias. And here we go, guys. Gonna eat this, yum. Girl there behind me trying to beg money off me. I wish I could help everyone, but you can't. not possible. So I'm going to eat this, and then we might try and find an arepa at another shop. We had a delicious one the other day. I've been eating this sort of food all the time. Janet's nieces have been, and Wilson and Lucy, they've been eating all this yummy food. I've been eating buñuelos and oh yeah, yum. Sorry guys, don't want to talk with a full mouth. Now I think I mentioned this to you the other day, but in Australia there's a lot of Colombians, a lot of South Americans from all over the place, and they're always cooking different foods. But because our oils are also healthy and things, you don't get this yummy, crispy, delicious buñuelos and things that you get here. Even I haven't had a decent empanada in Australia. Buñuelo, Janet makes my favourite arepas. Arepas are more like a pancake maybe, but more thick. Yeah, well, actually, the Transmilenio again. Sorry guys. Excuse me while I eat. Janet's really worried about me walking around. Lucy and Wilson. The girls, not so much, because they're young. They don't feel fear like adults. But yeah, it's as you can see here, guys, just everywhere is graffiti. Yes. Anyway, I'm going to let you go for now. You must be getting bored hearing me talk. And when I find an arepa or something different, I'll start filming again. Right, look what I found. Little street food, all sorts of things here. Happy, happy people. Colombians are such amazing, happy people. It's just a really small percentage ruins it for the rest. But, food everywhere, and that one looks popular. So I'm going to head over there and have an arepa, I think. Try not to step in the puddles. Try not to get run over. It's amazing, guys. Look at this. People everywhere, happy, nice people. And you know, if something happened to me here, I'm quite confident that everyone else would be straight away here to help me. These arepas here. I'm going to try one of these. Yum. I'll get back to you when I've got it. Got a little arepa. I don't know what's in the middle. She did tell me, but my Spanish is still not the best. But I'll bite into it and find out. Hablar hola. Bueno, me gusta colombianos. Oh, sorry, now I'm speaking to you in Spanish. I love Colombians, guys. Now I'm going to try and find myself an agua con gas so I can take some painkillers, because I really am a little bit sore. Very, very sweet. There are two different styles, and the Colombians watching this are going to tell me how wrong I am. There's probably about 10, but to me there's two different styles of arepas. One is really, really sweet, and the other one's more like bread. This one's sweet. It's not my favourite, but still yummy. But I'm going to look around a bit more, guys, and I'll get on to you later. Okay, so these are the pasteles I like. Arancinas or something in Italian, I think. But yeah, just delicious. But I'm already a bit full from what I've eaten, so I'm going to go for a bit of a wander. I'll come back there later. Just looking for an agua con gas. Yes, they have agua con gas. If they have it in the fridge, I'll find out. ¿Tienes algo con gas frío? Sí, bueno, I'll just put this away and pay the lady. And guys, more pasteles, buñuelos. These are the other different sort of pasteles. Just yummy, guys. And you never know what it's going to taste like till you bite into these things, because it's not like at home where they're all made with the same sort of ingredients. These ones, they're all made at home by their own recipes. And, one of my favourite parts of catching buses around South America is every time the bus stops, some old lady will get on with a basket full of food. And I always sit up near the front of the bus. The second row in the bus, I believe, is the safest row to be in. When they'll get on, and when they first get on, I'll buy one, eat that. When she's going up the bus and back down again, if I like it, I'll buy another 4 or 5. One time I was little kebabs on a stick, meat on a stick, and I'm chewing away, and this American girl tapped me on the shoulder. She said, "Do you know you're eating guinea pig?" I said, "Well, it's delicious. This won't be the last time I eat this." She was so shocked that I could eat a guinea pig and be happy about it. Look at this, guys. Just gorgeous. What a day. So I'm going to head back to the room. The journey won't be much longer. And then we're going to head up to the museum. Now, this I'm going to head back over here. I'm not sure if you'll be able to see it in this camera. If I was on the M50 you would. But just up where that big building is up there, if you look just to the left, you'll see Montserrat. Danny had ribs. I wish I remembered what pastillas meant, because that's what I would have had. Yum, but I'm going to get some chicken. My only worry is we're drinking juice, and I think it might have been made by tap water. But I'll find out tonight. Now we're going to the museum. Las Sobrinas. Janet. It's a bit of a walk. It's about halfway to where we went to the planetarium the other day, so not that far. We're all pretty full from that lunch. This is the Museo Nacional, the National Museum. I imagine this building is very, very old, or it might have been built to look old, but I'll find that out. Now, I've just been told this is was a Spanish prison, so it's probably 400 or 500 years old. Wow. Australia's own not even 300 years old. This is incredible. Oh, look at this, guys. Just incredible. Amazing. Rather than go to war, Portugal and Spain divided South America pretty much down the middle. So Brazil is almost exactly half of South America. And that's one country, because they were very loyal to their queen, I think it was at the time. And but the Spanish conquistadors were very different. They all wanted to be kings. That's why there's so many different countries here. In Colombia alone, there was, in the 1800s, there was 4 civil wars. In the early 1900s, that's when there was a war, and they seceded from Panama, became a separate country. And then later on in the early 1900s, there was a big war with Peru. So, and Ecuador's in between, but I'm guessing the borders were a bit different back then. This is really very interesting, guys. A lot of this stuff I already knew, but this, and it's a massive, massive big museum, this one, guys. Just incredible. Now, guys, I'm telling you this story from memory, so forgive me if I can't remember the exact names and dates and things, but when the Spanish first came down from Central America to South America, they spotted an Indian tribe, and a lot of them were wearing gold. So they captured this young kid, took him back to Central America, and they taught him Spanish so he could be their translator. And then later on they came back, like maybe 15 years later, and I think it was General Cortez, but don't quote me on that, guys. He came down with 128 soldiers, and the Inca actually means king, but we've come to believe the Incas as the group, the tribal groups, and the Incas owned all this country. And the two brothers, the two Inca kings, 2 brothers were at war for control. Both of them wanted to be the one and only. And so when the Spanish got down to Peru, to Cusco, they and met with the southern king, he was so ready to have allies that he invited the Spanish right in. Now, when they were coming to have the big meeting for the first time, Cortez said, well, look, there's only 128 of us, And guys, again, if it's not Cortez, I apologise, but the story's right. And he said, there's only 128 of us. There's thousands of you. How about no weapons? And the king said, yep, but we're going to have our ceremonial emerald swords because that's part of our culture. And they said, yeah, because they weren't actually weapons, they were just ceremonial. About 5,000 of them turned up, and Cortez had all his men mounted on horseback inside the buildings that they'd been given to stay in. And him and his priest went out to meet the Inca and his religious advisor. And they were chatting away through this kid, and the priest showed the Inca the Bible, but the Incas had no written language. So when the Inca handed it to his religious advisor, they took one look at it and threw it on the ground. And as soon as that Bible hit the ground, the priest just screamed, kill them all, kill them all. So these 128 soldiers just rode out on horseback. And the Incas had never seen anything bigger than a llama, so these were monsters to them. They were terrified, and these 128 soldiers massacred 5,000 people that day. And they took the Inca king as hostage, and they made his ransom. And guys, I can't remember exactly, but this will give you an idea. It was like 1 room full of silver and 2 rooms full of gold was his ransom. So they took a couple of years to come up with the ransom, and they bought the Spanish, said, look, here's a room full of silver and a room full of gold. It was all pots and pans and jewellery and things. And the Spanish said, oh, no, that's not a room full. And when they melted down the gold, it was only about 1/10 of a room. And when they melted down the silver, so it actually took many, many, many years for the Incas to raise enough gold and silver to free their king. And once they received the ransom, Cortez killed the king. And I think the second the knife was in the king's ribs, Cortez regretted it, because over those many, many years, 15 or 20 years, but again, don't quote me on that, guys, they'd become very, very good friends. And Cortez never got over it. He ended up dying in Lima, living with an indigenous woman. He was never the powerful man that he had been before. And sorry going on like that, guys, but I wanted you to understand the history of the Spanish in South America. And the monks that came to South America, the Portuguese and the Spanish monks, they came here as penance, and they were very hard people. And when they conquered all the indigenous tribes, they had 2 choices. They could come and work for God, or they become slaves. And either way, they became slaves. And these were people that had lived in the jungle their whole lives, catching animals and living a very beautiful life. And suddenly they were having to work 15, 20 hours a day at the end of a whip. And they weren't lasting very long. They were dying off like flies. And that's why the Spanish started, and the Portuguese as well, started bringing African slaves into South America. So it is a very big mix of indigenous, Spanish and African, and that's what makes the Latino. Just this building alone. You guys that have been following me for a while know how much I like old buildings. This is just unbelievable. I hope I'm not being too boring with all this historic stuff, guys. Please don't shut off in droves, but this sort of thing really, really interests me. And entry is only $1 US for adults, even less for kids.
Welcome everyone to the National Museum of Colombia. This is the temporary salon, and right now we're doing an exhibition in homage to Antonio Caro, Colombia's first conceptual artist. In this salon you're gonna find 7 pieces that are actually bringing back to life Antonio's original pieces. So one of them is Aquí no cabe el arte, where there is no room or space for art here in Colombia. Antonio Caro appropriated the aesthetic of communication and advertising posters in order to point out the oblivions that multiple Colombian governments have perpetuated to victims of the violence. What we're asking people to do in order to bring this back to the present problematics is to write down the names and the date and the place in which social leaders from the last 3 years have been killed or disappeared. In that way, through the participation of the people that come to the exhibition and through art history, what we're doing is making people not forget about this particular oblivions that the government has perpetrated. For example, that's Colombia, Antonio Caro's most celebrated piece, in which he's appropriating the typography and the colors of Coca-Cola, a multinational company that has lots of economical power in this country. Basically, more power than our national products. So I am inviting you to come here to the National Museum and question our national history and participate in all of these interactive pieces.
That was incredible, guys. What a great few hours. Well worth the visit and well worth the $1 entry fee. And now I can't resist arepa con queso and chorizo. What an incredible day, guys. That museum was just unbelievable. Well worth visiting. And I was so impressed with that last exhibition that I got the artist to screen print Lamis Colombia on one of my Mad Dog shirts. Unbelievable, guys. Now, if you haven't subscribed yet, hit that Mad Dog icon up there or the subscribe button down below. May as well hit the bell icon while you're down there. I always try and respond to your comments, so leave a comment, give me a big thumbs up, share this video everywhere you can, and we'll see you in the next one.